Hey guys, Nelson Lewis here, coming back at you with another One Piece video. Now, I know it's been a few weeks since my last video. If you didn't watch it, go on my channel and watch it. And I said in that video I wanted to make videos every chapter, but the last few chapters haven't given me enough theory material to make, a whole lot of video on. So, I've compiled a list of my own theories I've developed over years of reading One Piece that are completely original. I promise you, you've never heard these theories before. These are theories that might blow your mind. Now, these theories aren't about what the One Piece is or isn't, or the Void Century, or any of the other big mysteries of the One Piece world. These theories are about individual characters, certain devil fruits, certain things that might happen or be revealed in the story soon, or just general theories about less important yet still interesting things in One Piece. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna put. I don't know how many theories. Let me count how many theories I got. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 theories here, but I'm probably only gonna go over one of them for this video. Maybe I'll throw in another one, just a quick one that I don't have a whole lot of exposition on. But okay, let's get on to the theories. Now, this first theory came about from thinking about how the Marines can be buffed, because they just look so weak right now, just unbelievably weak. And I don't think Oda will allow for the Marines to be such pushovers, because then they just become a joke in the story, and any attempt to create a sense of danger using their presence will just lead readers to rolling their eyes. So I thought to myself, what can Oda do to bring the Marines back to the forefront? And I started thinking about all the devil fruits, all the devil fruit potential awakenings for the Marines, more specifically the admirals. And I started off with Fleet Admiral Akainu. Now, what could Akainu do with his awakening? We already know that Akainu and Aokiji changed the climate of Punk Hazard. I think it was just like a grassy island before they arrived and had their battle. Now, is that as far as Logia awakenings can go? Because if so, it doesn't grant an immediate battle advantage, so it's kind of weak. Changing the climate isn't really something that lends you an advantage. When Luffy awakens, it's an immediate battle advantage, like we saw with him stretching the floor to reflect a blast breath from Kaido. So, I think there's got to be something more there for Akainu. Granted, I don't think every devil fruit will have an awakening, because certain ones might become OP, or maybe there's just nothing creative there to do beyond the original base ability, so Oda will just skip over him. He'll just skip over him. But because we know the Marines need to be buffed, Oda must have something cooking up for Akainu. And so I thought about the magma in One Piece, and all the times it's been mentioned in the story. Is there anything special about magma in One Piece? I went looking. And it turns out all the way back in Skypiea, I know most of you skipped this arc, but bear with me. In Skypiea, Pagaya tells us that pyroblowing comes from volcanic eruptions. And based on, he didn't expand on that. He didn't say if it was just some dust that was ejected from the volcano or what have you. But based on the pyro prefix in the word, we can assume that the pyro blowing is a natural part of the magma in volcanoes in One Piece. Now, what's so special about pyro blowing? Well, if you didn't know, it's the substance that makes up sea stone. Yeah, sea stone. So the magma of the volcano of Mount Fuji is probably, I'm not even going to say probably, it's certainly where the Wano craftsmen got their sea stone back when they were making it. And Hawkins told us that only the Wano craftsmen are skilled enough to mold the sea stone. So how do the Marines have so much of it? Way more than even Wano, seemingly. And how are they able to conform to shapes like ship holes and handcuffs and Smoker's jut, his little pole weapon thing with a little piece of sea stone in the tip? There's only one answer. Akainu. Akainu's awakening allows him to produce sea stone in the vast quantities that Marines possess. And with direct control over his sea stone element, he can create any shape necessary. And it also has immediate battle value for Akainu. Now, I'm not sure if it's a Doflamingo type awakening where Akainu can touch the ground and it turns into sea stone, or whether his awakening allows him to simply eject pure sea stone rather than magma. But, I'll just leave you guys to think about that. Just let me know in the comments what you think it'll be. But this is something that would make the Marines very formidable in the final war without it being an ass-pull. Now, because I discovered Akainu's awakening, I started thinking about Aokiji. Akainu and Aokiji are portrayed as polar opposites on the same team in One Piece, in every way. They have opposite powers. Magma versus ice. They have opposite personalities. One's a hothead and one's laid back. They have opposite senses of justice. Akainu's justice is thorough justice, and Aokiji's justice is lazy justice. They have opposite builds, where Akainu is buff and big, and Aokiji is slim and trim. They even have opposite skin color. Akainu's white and Aokiji's black. Now, Oda beat us over the head with these details. So, now it stands to make sense that Aokiji's awakening is also opposite to Akainu's while still being on the same team. Now, what is the other weakness for Devil Fruit users other than Sea Stone, which is solid? Take a guess. You can figure it out. You remember, it's water, which is liquid. We got solid man-made sea stone versus liquid natural water. Aokiji's awakened ice fruit allows him to directly produce water. The water fruit has been hidden in plain sight for us all along, and it belongs to Aokiji. The evidence is all there, hidden in the story. You just have to connect the dots. Akainu to magma, magma to pyrobloin, pyrobloin to sea stone, and then sea stone to water, water to ice, ice to Aokiji. Now, just like I said for Akainu, I'm not sure, if Aokiji can touch the ground and it turns into water, or his awakening just simply allows him to eject water. But I can see this, it's not as advantageous as Akainu's awakening, potentially, because sea stone, you just touch someone with it and they're weak. It might be harder for Aokiji to get someone into water, but I suppose that he could freeze someone, and then put his hand on the ground. Well, he doesn't even need to. I don't know if you need to use your hands to apply awakening to the ground, but I'm going to assume not. So he just freezes someone, and the ground he's standing on, he instantly turns it into water on some Doflamingo shit, where you turn those buildings and the floor into strings, and then the frozen person just plummets into the water, and then he just freezes over the top of the water, and the person just goes floating down into whatever depth of water Aokiji created, and they just die. I mean, it's actually insane. It's an insane ability. But that's all I got to say about Aokiji's fruit. Now you know. Now you know the awakenings for the admirals. For those two admirals. Akainu's got sea stone fruit, because he's got magma, and there's pyrobloin and magma. And then Aokiji's got, when it's awakened, the water fruit. So we've got Akainu's and Aokiji's awakening. What about the third original admiral, Kizaru? Now, we can't use parallels like we did for Akainu and Aokiji, so we're going to have to get real creative here. What could Kizaru do that would buff the Marines and not be an asshole? I've seen people talk about Kizaru creating different types of radiation, that's like the most obvious one. A potential route Oda could go. Since visible light is just a form of electromagnetic radiation, it stands to reason that he could awaken and produce some more energetic types of it, like X-rays and gamma rays. But that's just a little too strong for One Piece, in my opinion. A little too sciencey. I don't think Oda will go that far. And you gotta consider, Kizaru's light in One Piece is already nerfed to high hell in comparison to actual light, because if Kizaru was actually kicking things at even just 99% the speed of light, atoms in the air in front of Kizaru's foot would be fusing together and literally creating nuclear explosions. Entire islands would be getting turned into mist by Kizaru's kick instantly. Presumably, only Bartolomeo would be able to survive with his barrier abilities. I'm going to assume that he can block radiation, nuclear radiation, and maybe Kuma, if his repelling abilities extends to nuclear explosions, because we know he can repel metaphysical things like pain, so it stands to reason that he could probably repel nuclear radiation and what have you, a nuclear fireball. Now, if we go when we add in gamma rays, Oda would have to nerf the gamma rays the same as he did with his light, because Kizaru becomes an existential threat to the planet if he gets gamma rays. It's like in Dragon Ball, where a Kamehameha pointed at the Earth is taboo because it will destroy the planet. If Kizaru aims a gamma ray beam at the planet, it's GG. It's GG for the One Piece world. So I don't think Oda's going to go that far. But I do think that Kizaru producing different forms of electromagnetic radiation is on the right track. I just don't think it'll go to that far. I think he'll just simply be able to create different forms of visible light, different colors of light. Now, where do we see colors being used as a power in One Piece? If we go back to the Alabasta Saga, we saw Miss Golden Week, who used her paint to inflict different emotions on others. If you don't remember, it was called the Colors Trap, and she used the color yellow on Luffy to make him laugh uncontrollably, while Zoro, Nami, and Vivi were getting turned into candles on Little Garden by Mr. 3. She also has other colors she uses to different effects, like green, which calms its victims. She paints Luffy green on the back, and he sits down and has a picnic with her. Side note here, or side theory rather, I guess you could say. In a cover story, Miss Golden Week used her rainbow trap, which makes others realize / remember their dream, and she used it on Mr. 1, and she also used it on Crocodile, which made him remember his dream of becoming Pirate King, which I think gave him a big boost in power, hence his new crazy high bounty. And I think that's how Oda will make him relevant to the story. Okay, back to my point. I think Kizaru could do a similar thing with his light by creating different colors. We know his default yellow creates explosions. I think it may be possible for him to create, say, a red laser that sets things ablaze, or just cuts straight through them like a lightsaber, or a green laser that heals, or a blue laser that even freezes things. This makes Kizaru a Swiss knife on the offensive end for the Marines. It's like having Ace, Aokiji, Mr. 5, and Dende from Dragon Ball all in one for the Marines. Now, in the final war, it's highly likely Kizaru and Sanji will fight. They are both kick-based fighters with high speeds. Everyone knows this fight is going down. People have been talking about it for years, decades. Now, Oda loves his gags in One Piece, and I suspect that if my theory is correct, I suspect Kizaru will be able to produce a rainbow laser just like Miss Golden Week has her rainbow color traps. And he will hit Sanji with a rainbow laser in the middle of their fight, and the rainbow laser will turn him gay. And since Ivankov will be there at the final war, I can see Sanji turning tail and running straight to Ivankov with hearts in his eyes and a gushing nosebleed. It would be peak One Piece comedy. You know that's something Oda will do. You know it's going to happen. You just know. And so for all these reasons, I think that is what Kizaru's Awakening will be. And that's pretty much it for this video. I'm surprised it's 14 minutes long right now. But tell me what you think in the comments. That's just one of my 9 groundbreaking One Piece theories that have never been heard before. Never heard before. So let me know in the comments what you think. Please like and subscribe. And maybe next week I'll make another video. And so yeah, be on the lookout for that, guys. Thanks for watching.